have to unplug it, Shanna, and then put that on the table, I guess.
Unplug it here?
The other one.
Okay.
Yep, that one.
Over here?
Good.
Okay.
You should be charged enough.
Okay, oh, so just unplug it, okay.
Just like that.
Okay.
All right, okay, good. Thank you.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa And what I noticed was I can't see what's on that board. So I don't have it in my source material. Everything's good. Okay, so when we're ready, what we're going to do today is to read the paragraph that's on the viewing board, meditate on that, and then discuss the words that stand out for you or the information that stands out for you. And are we going to have feedback? Are we going to have feedback or delay? Everything is good now?
Not too much delay, everything should be good.
Okay, I just wanted to know whether to listen for the delay so that I don't overtalk what's coming out of the screen to everyone here.
Sounds good, Vinod, but we're on Zoom, so we should be close to live.
Okay. Close to life. All right. So having said that, let's read together the paragraph that we're using for study today. Okay. Here we go.
Goodness, simplicity, greatness. These three are one. And this trinity of perfection cannot be separated. All greatness springs from goodness. All goodness is profoundly simple. Without goodness, there is no greatness.
Some men passed through the world as destructive forces, like tornado or the avalanche. But they are not great. They are not to greatness as the avalanche is to the mountain. The work of greatness is enduring and perseverable, and not violent and destructive. The greatest souls are the most gentle. All true genius is impersonal. It belongs not to the one through whom it is manifested. It belongs to all.
Okay. So let's go and sit quietly and observe the pronouncements that are manifested in the mind, and then we'll discuss the words and the meaning as they pertain to you. one of the things that we want to share here, first of all, everyone here is aware that there's a multi-traditional appearance at this center. It's not just one discipline, but any discipline that encourages us to look for and evolve in the goodness of our late self. So the discussion is about, and all of the encouragement from both Panuwadi and myself are all about the fact that it takes, one size does not fit all, and that it takes an experiential understanding of all of the situational and informational experience to that, so that we will know what best fits us as individuals. And of course, we're just tapping into something that's a greater unknown, a greater encouragement to us as our perceived individuality is concerned, because we're really not individual. So, having said that, let's go inside and see what jumps up for us. Would somebody get me a piece of paper, please, from the back? I can do a Magoo on it. I can squint. But I figure that everyone here has younger eyes than I, so you can actually see it. And so I can listen to what is presented and we can discuss it. Yes, thank you. All right, what words jumped out for you?
Goodness is profoundly simple.
The phrase, the work of greatness is enduring and preservative and not violent and destructive, for me.
Goodness is positive and not violent and destructive.
Phrase, the work of greatness is enduring and preservative and not violent and destructive.
Hmm.
All true genius is impersonal.
The greatest souls are the most gentle.
Right, just a minute. What we have is a delay.
The greatest souls are the most gentle.
Okay, one person.
They are to greatness as the avalanche is to the mountain.
Okay, now could you repeat that, please?
Yes, it said they are to greatness as the avalanche is to a mountain.
All goodness is profoundly simple.
You say the greatest souls are the most gentle.
Have to mute until.
Okay, so goodness is profoundly simple. What we can understand about that statement is that we have an understanding of what is wholesome and what is unwholesome. And we don't have to have a discussion with it after that. Once we've determined within our own body being that a certain action or mode of speech or thought is unwholesome, then there's not much further to carry other than to put it in a place where we never lean on it again, where we never think that we need to use it as a defensive weapon or as a tool with which to get our way. We are walking a path or practicing an understanding that says unwholesomeness in whatever form it takes, it manifests, is something to be avoided and replaced by what man considers or woman considers goodness. So it's not a lot of discussion that we need to have on the many manifestations of goodness, the many manifestations of wholesomeness, but just to be able to recognize within our own body being, our own selves, when one is present and when the other is present, and to renounce one and embrace the other. and to deny the conversation that says, yeah, but in this case, because they did this, or because they said this, I am justified in acting outside of the boundary of goodness. And goodness is all about greatness and gentleness. And we've been discussing this for a while, and we've been, I think, very successful in employing it and its understanding. So I would like to encourage you to keep up the good work and to keep being mindful of the process. We can just look at our existential reality and see the contrast that occurs between the employment of goodness and the employment of anything other than goodness. That in my opinion, goodness is defined as is the absence of violence and woundedness or wounding others because of our own issues of vulnerability. That in our studies, there is no excuse, there is no wiggle room to employ anything other than love and gentleness. And love and gentleness, gentleness and love are used interchangeably. That we can use gentleness, or we can choose to use goodness, or we can choose to use gentleness and goodness. And be assured that either of these concepts, whichever one that I can grasp in the moment, when I'm in a particular situation, when I'm in a particular conversation, when I'm in a particular relationship, dialogue, conversation with another, that what the one that fits is the one to use, whether it be goodness or gentleness. Because they're both synonymous, in my opinion. That if I employ one, I've employed the other. If I employ the other, I've employed the one. So it doesn't take a lot of deliberation. And as we talked about when we met before, that one of the measuring sticks, the criteria that we can use to further guarantee or to satisfy ourselves that we have employed the right energy is the rule, the golden rule, do unto others as we have them do unto me. Do unto others. Do no harm, because we don't want any harm done to us. So it's really profoundly simple. There's not a lot of dialogue that we need to have with the self, with the mind, in order to justify and or feel that we are correct in this case, that we are justified in this case, goodness will immediately let us know that that wasn't the best thing to do, that wasn't the gentlest thing to do, that wasn't the kindest thing to do. And most often we can employ it with self-examination. Would that make me feel good? Would that make me feel safe? Would that make me feel loved? So we don't have to go outside of the boundary of self in order to critique our own choice. And when we feel that we've fallen short of our desire to use the best energy in dialogue with others, that we then immediately correct our mistake, because it is our mistake. It's not anyone else's fault. It's my fault when I act unkindly toward another. It's not that they are in any way faulty or deserving of my ire. So, any comment?
What popped into my mind is sometimes I think I'm doing something that's kind or saying some words that I think are kind, and then because of culture or how somebody is raised or something, or I don't know what, it's not taken that way.
Okay. So what do you do then?
I guess it depends on how they respond. I mean, if they're responding really strongly, or if I feel like I can talk to them about it. Like that, excuse me, I didn't mean to be offending you. But sometimes
Okay.
I run into situations where they just don't, I mean, they're not accepting, but my intention was good, but they're seeing it differently.
Okay, well, the thing that I would encourage you to do is to go beyond that or go deeper than that. And first of all, understand that it doesn't matter in the case of evaluation as to what our intention was. That part of the relationship demands that I immediately withdraw my energy and all of my excuses when I find that what I did a moment ago, what I said a moment ago, brought a greater disturbance to the individual that I am conversing with. Yeah. So thank you. So I eliminate that section in relationship to the other, where I spend time justifying what I've said or what I've done. That in my sensing that I have brought injury to the other, I pull back all that I was on. Because again, it's not to say that that wasn't my intention, but I'm also reading in the relationship, in the dance, that my intention was not received the way that I thought that I wanted it to be. So rather than what we normally do and what we usually do is at that point begin to argue for our position. You know, I didn't mean that. This is what I meant. You misunderstood. let me say it again so that you will understand me better. As opposed to using that awareness, using that sensor to see that what I don't want to do is to bring injury to the other. And no matter what my intention was, I fell short. My intention fell short. It wasn't the other person, it was my intention. And so then my responsibility is because I issued it forth. I gave it to you and I gave it to you as a gift. So I can't insist that you take it because I didn't mean it this way, but I meant it that way. But that it's up to me to redress, to take it back and design it in a different way, project it in a different way, express it in a different way, so that my ideal will be experienced by this person. In other words, do you think that in relating that way, in taking back what we find is hurtful to the other and remodeling it, reconstructing it in a better way? Not that your way wasn't good, but it shows us that we can do it better even if we have that intention to gift the best gift that we can actually give to the other individual. If we are exchanging gifts, or if I'm coming to bring a gift to you, and I just throw the box at you, or throw the package at you and say, here's your birthday gift. There's an energy, a dynamic that comes with that doesn't make it good at all for the person who's receiving it, even though we believe that the expression of giving, sharing is by and large a good thing to do, and that most people receive it in that spirit, that, well, somebody cares about me, they like me, they're giving me this, they're taking the time to go out and shop for it. But there's also a different energy received when we didn't do the best we could do, when we just picked up something at the corner because I forgot all about it until this moment. So if our intention is indeed to give love and understanding to the person that we are dialoguing with, then it is my responsibility to make sure that that happens. And if I see that it didn't happen, then it is my responsibility to either shut up because I don't know how, although my intention is there to do it a different way, and to ask forgiveness, to ask not that you should understand, not that you should accept my gift as I have decided to package it, but to accept it because I have taken the time to consider your feelings, and I rewrapped it or replaced it even with something that is more translatable and more understanding of the other person's feelings, situation, position, development even. In other words, we wouldn't talk to and give a 2-year-old the same way we would a 29-year-old. So we're taking into account the things that we're just learning about the other individual through our being there with them and listening to their point of view. that says, "Ooh, this hurts me. This doesn't bring me happiness. This gift." It's like giving someone a divorce or herpes. See, I didn't mean to. It's all about love. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, who else do we have? How about our audience out in virtual land? Is there anyone out there who would like to speak on this subject?
I just wrote a very brief note that occurred to me as I was reading. True goodness is empty.
Okay, hold on a second. We're adjusting the sound.
I can't hear anymore, so I don't know if anybody's waiting for me to speak.
I am waiting for you to speak.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to share something that occurred to me as I was reading the text, that true goodness is empty. So it's empty of so much of what we put into, so much of the self, right? Empty. I finally understand the term empty, right? The first time I ever heard the word empty was from Panyadipa, probably a couple of years ago. And it completely confounded me. And I spent a lot of time, I guess all this time, coming to an understanding, at least for now, of what emptiness means. And I take it to mean devoid of the self. And so true goodness then occurs to me from this text would be devoid of the self or empty. That's true goodness. And I take it to mean devoid of the self. And so true goodness then occurs to me from this text would be devoid of the self or empty. That's true goodness.
Okay. So another way to say that, another way that we can say that is selflessness. True goodness is selflessness. And all of my motivation is for you. My intention is for you. My intention is not for me to unload on you my stuff, my angst, or my desire for you to see the world my way or my reality. Did you hear that, Joe?
I did. Thank you.
So, lots of times we get twisted or we misunderstand what self means in a certain context. Okay, all right. So now so one of the things that we eliminate from our need to explain my purpose in giving you what I gave you. If I take the self away, that means that there's no ego. So that means that there is no intention from me to make my gift the best that you've ever had, and my feelings don't get hurt. But what my heart does is become motivated to do better. Not for you to do better by changing how you look at it, but remodeling again, as we've said before, the construction or the construct of my gift to you. To say, oh, okay, let me take that back. Let me cook a better meal for you. Let me fry the chicken a better way, right? It's just like today, we tried to gift you guys out there in the Zoom world this talk, this dialogue. And we're doing our best. And sisters back there turning knobs and, you know, and we're doing the best we can do, but we're going to do better because we keep on trying. We keep on trying to make it better for you. Yes, Pani Wadi.
So if we thought about
Do
impersonal,
you want, no? Okay. Oh, okay.
so we think about the impersonal nature of this gift. It's more like no strings attached. We have to be careful about how we associate a word because worldly language is not spiritual language. And so when we think impersonal, it's sort of off-putting. But if you think of impersonal as no strings attached, I don't have anything invested in it for me. I may have something invested in it for you, but not for me. And this gets back to us really knowing ourselves. You know, it's a constant theme in the Dharma, knowing ourselves. So for instance, if I say something and I wasn't skillful or you just didn't get it, it could be either one of those, but I recognize that you didn't get it and I want you to get it and I try to give it to you again and you're not trying to hear that right now, then that means that, you know, I might have to leave it alone, but in my own mind, I might be garnering or gathering some irritation because you're not getting it and I'm trying to fix it, you know, but if I don't know myself, then I don't know that that's the way, that's what I'm doing. I will think that I'm trying to do the noble thing, which is, you know, to come back and try to share it with you again or explain it so that you can understand it. If I don't detect that underlying irritation, like, oh, here we go, or she's not hearing me, or whatever, then I don't know myself in this. And most times we don't look deep enough to really know or to be able to freely acknowledge the most basic underlying intention in every action, even an action that's being done to correct an action. And that's how deep we have to go. So that practice in Tibetan, roll all blames into one, that can help you understand how to apply that. Doesn't mean like just flagellate yourself over everything that everybody's doing or to take the blame on that surface level, but to see how deep one can dive in their own goodness, you know, that covers a multitude of sins. It's like that.
One of the admonitions in this text was about understanding that greatness is gentleness, so that we can immediately detect within ourselves when we are no longer standing on that platform of greatness by how much anger and irritation we have with the other person because they don't get what we think they should get, that they don't understand what we think they should understand, that we are not taking our hands off of it and reconstructing it in a different way. If we find any irritation within us, remember what irritation is. Irritation is linear anger. Irritation is just on one construct of the whole pipeline where rage is on the other. So we have rage on one end, irritation on the other end. If I find myself getting irritated in a situation, I've lost all of my goodness. I've lost all of my gentleness. Doesn't matter what I'm trying to convince myself that I'm appropriate, that that I really meant to bring you a good gift. If I've got anger involved in that, tied up in that, I've lost my way. It's not that you lost your way. It's not that you don't understand. Because what we do know is this, in our experiences with others, as we walk this path, as we walk this world, as we walk this earth, as we try to get to the other side of our life purpose, that when someone is irritated, angry with us, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to us. It doesn't matter what their excuse is, like you get on my nerves. It doesn't feel good. The gentleness is absent from the expression. So what we want you to do is to remember that, and to remember to stay present so that you experience the feedback that comes in the loop. And I don't have to guess. I don't have to think I'm doing okay and saying the right word, because I can tell by the energy coming from you that it wasn't the right word. And again, is what we're saying is that in our intention to walk the path of goodness and gentleness and greatness, it is incumbent upon me to reconstruct, to redesign, so that my imaging that is sent out to you expresses more truly what I say my intention was as I said this or did this or gifted this to you. It's all on me. And when it's all on me and it's all on you and it's all on you and it's all on you, then we are forming a team that doesn't require a besting of you, a pushing down of you, a denial of the way you saw things, but we're forming a team that says, as a team, we're going to make this better. We're going to make this dance that we're having with each other better. And as soon as we take that intention and manifest it, things will become better, because it is our intention that shapes our reality. All right. Everybody's good? How about the Zoom crowd? All right.
You just said something. As soon as our intention shifts, our changes, that it can shift the whole situation.
Right.
And that's important to consider. You know, I mean, sometimes it takes people more time, but just know that there is the great possibility that as soon as the intention shifts, you know, there might be enough fuel there with that for the whole situation to turn around. I was watching a show on television last night about, you know, teenagers who are really, you know, really lost. You know, they needed anger, or they called anger management therapy, but they take them to jail for a night, and they put them through this grueling deprivation of sleep while they have them exercising, and you know, and they're yelling at them, and then you bad now will hit me, and all this kind of things. And I was thinking, like, gosh, that seems so violent against the kids. And just as I was thinking that, the trainer said, some of you are thinking, you know, that this is too extreme, that they need to be in a 1-year anger management course. They have to gradually discover what's making them angry. He said, but these kids somebody's gonna kill them tomorrow or the next day. They don't have time for a 1-year course. So sometimes, you know, when we're thinking about, like, if you see your stallion, your pride stallion running towards the precipice, you can't just say, come back. You have to holler, stop. And that is caring for them. But you gotta know what's what. That's why you gotta be able to dive deep into, to really know yourself.
Okay.
Of course, I still wouldn't have done what they did with those children. You know, maybe it does need to be done. I'm just not the one to do it that way. You know?
That gets back to the belief that if I spare the rod, I spoil the child. So I agree with you, Panyawan. Is there anyone here today that still does not understand the schematic, the graph that we put up for relationship, that somehow still has in their heart mind the belief that we have a right to argue or outshout or be more forceful than. Remember, we talked about greatness, the partnership between greatness and gentleness. And we're all talking about wanting to be the greatest or one of the greatest that walks. So a part of that desire and responsibility is for us to also be one of the most gentle that walk. Because the association between the two are what is additive and identifiable. So there is no such thing as a peacekeeper missile. There is no such thing as doing something that is violent toward another, but saying it's for their own good. Violence can never be associated with goodness. Although we have lots of people and lots of institutions that teach us, inform us that in this case, violence is the best tool. And so what we're talking about is purging anger and forcefulness and seeing things my way from the psyche, from the mind, so that I will not reach into the mind and pull out the wrong thing. Hello? Would you like to say something?
No, I was talking first.
Okay.
Come over here.
Don't worry, man. Okay. So again,
I wanted the gas company to look at
as we have discussed previously, what we want to do is to encourage ourselves to always at the end of the day, review how we did with others during the day. And remind ourselves that it is not what others have done to us, it is what we have done to others. That is the critical examination and evaluation. That it's never about what they did or what they said, it is about what I did or what I said. And one of the clarities of the teaching of the Buddha and others is that our individual responsibility is to demonstrate and offer kindness, gentleness, which then is defined as the greatest gift that we can give another. That we have no excuse and no permission to mistreat another being, to disregard the right of another to be accepted and walk without harm through life. We talk about fighting for our rights, but what we're really talking about is coexisting with the rest of reality where there's no harm done. And since I can't guarantee that the other or another will not do harm to someone or something, the only person that I can ultimately be responsible for is me. That as long as I have denied the belief that in this case, a bomb is what's needed, or in this case, a gun is what's needed, or in this case, a stick is what's needed, or a knife is needed, that I can always rely on myself to go back into my heart and find a better way to communicate the same information with love and gentleness. So when you find yourself becoming irritated, watch out for that. Let that go. And construct internally a gentler way, a more loving way to express what it is that you want to express. And that way we will have a non-conflictual moment of expression in life. That nobody believes that they should be the one that shows the other how to do things through force and coercion. That we all believe and we all take an oath of office, if you will, an oath of existence to be the greatest, gentlest, kindest, energy, spirit, soul, self, whatever it is that you think you are. Doesn't matter how you construct that, as long as you understand the parameters of operation. And that nobody can be used as an excuse for your promise to us. So meditate on that, make your lists, check your lists, understand your responsibility. And when we do that, when we remember to do that on a daily basis, we have changed the world's energy and intention by the number of people who do. It's not about fighting. It's about making love, not war. So, thank you all for being with us today. We again are continuing to work on our technology. We're trying to offer an experience that usually is not asked of us. But we don't want the virus to cause us to be in any source of isolation or aloneness. We want to continue to be present for each other, available for each other, and to be in touch with each other. So please understand that we're doing our best, and even though this might, our difficulties in transmission might appear to be the same as they were before, but they're really not. We continue to refine our delivery system. And reconstruct our delivery system to try to give you the best experience that you can have under these situations. So, love us and help us. All right, sister? Thank you so much for being with us, with all of your love and your kindness and your energy. Continue to check your list, continue to do the best you can, and that's all we can ask. Thank you so much. See you soon.